Now, this video is about Pisces and why Pisces is so important in terms of your spiritual evolution, right? Because every sign is basically a one step of your spiritual evolution. It's like one grade that you pass, it's the next step. That's why the school system has 12 grades, because it's representing the 12 zodiac sign. It's modeled after it, right? Because the 12 zodiac signs represents the 12 lessons you have to learn in life. But this one's about Pisces, and Pisces being the most important lesson that you have to learn, right? And Pisces represents being connected to everything, right? And everything is God, right? You have to study the laws of physics, study ancient spirituality, and you will understand that, yes, in fact, everything is God. There is only God, right? There is nothing else but God, right? You are a piece of God. You're like one of the cells of God inside God's body, right? Inside God's mind, right? Pisces is basically connecting with the energetic fields all around you, right? The invisible world all around you that connects you, right? Right? You're always connected to this world, but at the beginning stages of of your evolution, it's constrained, right? Constrained in such a way that you're basically not connected, right? Only a small little bit of information is coming from the world around you, right? From this invisible field. But when you ascend to higher levels, right? Once you get a higher understanding, you evolve spiritually, you will reach Pisces. Pisces represents being connected to everything, being one with everything, right? Which is basically being one with God. The only way to be one with God is to be one with everything around you, right? And once you become one with everything around you, you will become all knowing, right? You will know, you will be able to pull all the information from the fields around you, right? Everything is basically gravitational fields, energetic fields, electrical fields, magnetic fields, which all originate from the 0 point field, right? All fields come from this field, the 0 point field. But once you reach this mastery of spiritual evolution, you become godlike. You become all-knowing. You become all-powerful, right? This is why Pisces is basically the most powerful sign if you master what Pisces represents. Most people can't master what Pisces represents because it's the most difficult. It's the hardest, right? You can't expect to pass the 12th grade if you ain't passed the first grade yet, right? You can't expect to pass a higher level when you haven't done the basic stuff, right? You gotta do basic math first before you can think you could understand calculus, right? But once you understand this level, once you master this level, you become God-like. This is what the Jesus story was about. The Jesus story is his sign is the fish, the two fishes. It was basically the symbol of Jesus, right? The fish is Pisces symbol, right? Pisces symbol is the fish. And the fish represents what? The fish represents a womb, right? A woman's womb makes an oval, and then the fish is like the top of the oval, and then the top part of the oval intersects and links out, creates the little two tails, which is the fish. But if you erase the two tails, you get an oval. That oval represents a woman's vagina, right? And its relation to Pisces represents the cosmic womb that we all come out of, right? We all come out of a cosmic womb. This cosmic womb is God's womb, the energetic fields that we all come out of. But Pisces, it's like a computer. A computer it has limited knowledge on its own, right? But once a computer connects to the internet, the computer becomes basically it's kind of like a state of all knowing, right? It knows everything that's on the internet. It knows a whole its awareness of knowledge expands profoundly, right? But it's still limited, right? Because everything that has to do with Saturn is limited. Aquarius is ruled by Saturn. But Pisces is unlimited. Everything that's associated with Jupiter is unlimited, right? And Sag is still somewhat limited, right? Pisces is Jupiter's unlimited signs, unlimited perspective. But once you connect with everything around you, it's like connecting with the internet, right? Once you connect with everything around you, you connect with God, you become all-knowing because you're connected to everything that there is to know. You're connected to the energy fields that record all knowledge. knowledge. Everything is constantly being recorded. And the energy is everywhere. The knowledge is everywhere. One little inch of space contains an infinite amount of knowledge. It's called fractal. The universe works in fractals, right? Study fractals. Fractals basically say is at any given location contains everything in the universe, right? If you keep zooming in on fractals, it's like you think you're gonna see something different, but when you zoom in, you see the same pattern. You zoom in again, you see the same pattern. You zoom in again, you see the same pattern. You zoom out, you're gonna see the same pattern. You zoom out again, you see the same pattern happening again and again, showing you that in every inch of space contains all there is. All there is contained in every inch of space. It's confusing. I know Pisces is confusing. Pisces is contradictory because at the highest level, at God's level of understanding, nothing is stable, basically. Nothing is definitive, right? Everything is constantly changing. God could just imagine what it wants and it happens, right? Which is why Pisces could be delusional a little bit because they're operating off this higher God frequency where anything you want is possible. All you gotta do is imagine it. Even though they're in the physical world, which constricts them, and they haven't fully mastered Pisces, which stops them from actually operating on that level. Right? Where in the physical world, there's restrictions placed on us. Right? We can still reach that level, but it's extremely hard while in the physical body. But you can still do it. But the point is, most people can't do it. That's why Pisces can seem delusional. They're operating off this higher frequency, this higher frame of thought, which is God's mind. God's mind is imaginary, and it just imagines and it appears. That's how God works. We're all inside God's mind. But Pisces represents unity, oneness with everything, which means oneness with God, which means there's nothing more important than Pisces. Pisces is the most important sign. Pisces is the most significant sign because it represents your relation with God, and there's nothing more important than your relationship with God, right? Sag represents your relationship with God, right? But it's about self-discovery and how you relate to God, right? It's not really you becoming one with God. It's your destiny, your mission to God, right? Your journey to God, right? It's Sag, the beginning of your journey of discovering how you and God relate. Pisces is the end result. Pisces is the stage where when you're done mastering, you become one with God. You actually understand, I am God. That's the mind. That's the mind fuck right there, right? You are God. It's just your God experiencing itself from different perspectives, right? Because in reality, there is only God. You technically don't exist. You technically are God, right? It's just you view yourself as something else that you created from your ego, but technically you are God. You're a piece of God. Everything is God, right? It's like my finger is me. My finger is it's not separate from me. When you identify my finger, it's basically me. But Capricorn represents the laws of physics. Aquarius represents the laws of physics, but that's where the laws of physics starts to break, right? They start to bend. Aquarius represents sophisticated technology where humans will be able to bend the laws of physics, right? This is how alien spacecrafts work. They bend the laws of physics, right? They do things that's technically impossible when it comes to the laws of physics, which laws of physics states that it should be impossible because the laws of physics seems like they're static. It seems like it's impossible to change them when in reality you can change them, right? It's just you have to have the power to change them. But Aquarius represents when the laws of physics start to break, start to be bent. In Pisces, the laws of physics is completely broken. Completely broken. This is the multiverse, Pisces, right? Nothing makes sense. Everything is what you want it to be, right? You could completely break the laws of physics. You could completely rewrite the laws of physics in Pisces, right? Pisces has this power. This is why most people can never really master Pisces, because not only does it have to do with a certain level of wisdom, certain level of maturity, it has to do with your heart and where your heart's at, right? Because the universe is not going to become one with you. It's not going to truly connect with you. God's not going to truly connect with you if you're not pure. You have to be pure-hearted, right? You can't. There can be no polarity that exists in you. There could be no confliction. There could be no chaos that exists in you. You have to be one whole. You have to be on accord. Everything has to be in unification within you before you can unify with the universe. God's gonna reject you if you try and you haven't really reached this level of understanding and alignment, right? But science always leads to spirituality, right? The scientist always becomes the shaman, right? The shaman starts off as a scientist before he actually becomes the shaman, right? A lot of scientists say God don't exist. They're just being ignorant. They're just being dumb. They're just ignoring evidence, right? Because science is basically the study of nature, and when you study nature, and when you study the highest truths of the universe, it always goes back to God. It always points you back to God. It always brings you to a spiritual alignment, right? All truths lead back to God, right? When you study the universe, you realize there is an intelligent force behind all this creation. None of this is just by accident, right? The most smartest scientists understand this. Albert Einstein, Nikola Tesla, they all understand that there is a God. They call it a mysterious, intelligent force behind all creation, basically God. But Aquarius comes before Pisces for a reason, because scientists always become shamans. Science always leads to spirituality. And if you study ancient spirituality, you realize science is not proving them right. All the little theories that the spiritual people had back then, science is proving it right. Science is proving them right. Science is like, yep, these people is exactly right. And they're astonished, like, how did these people know this? Like, they supposedly didn't have no technology. How did they know all this? But Aquarius comes before Pisces for a reason, right? Technology, sophisticated technology always leads to powerful spirituality, right? Powerful spirituality is basically you tapping into your God-given abilities, your magic, you being able to do magic, you having superpowers, right? Humanity is gonna an intelligent species always reaches the stage of unity, reaches the stage of where they able to tap into magical abilities, right? Everything technology is doing, you could do with your body, right? You are the organic technology, right? What can be better than you? What can create better than God? Nothing. You can't create better than God. You are superior to all technology, right? It's just you don't know how to use yourself. You didn't come with a manual. You got to discover how to use yourself, right? There's all type of hidden power, hidden mechanisms in you to unlock the power, right? But Pisces represents the energy field all around you, the invisible world all around you, the 0 point energy field, the magnetic field that's all around you has unlimited power in every square inch. Every point, every insignificance, the smallest point you can find has an unlimited power, has unlimited source of power in it. And if you tap into this power, you become unlimited. You tap into an unlimited power and you become all powerful. Not only does every square inch have unlimited power, it has all the knowledge there is in the universe encoded in that square inch. It's called fractals. Study fractals, learn how fractals work. But this knowledge can be tapped into. It's just you have to be able to connect with the universe. You have to be one with the universe. This is why Pisces, this is why all the sages develop compassion for the world, right? Because they're connected to everything. They're connected to the animals, the humans, the life, the earth, right? When you become connected to all this, you develop a passion. You develop compassion for life. You develop compassion for the world, right? People who don't love people are disconnected. They're not connected people, right? A psychopath is someone who cannot connect he cannot connect emotionally to anything or anyone, right? This is what causes people to be evil and not care and destroy things, right? Destroy people, right? When you're truly connected, you feel others' pain. You feel how other people feel. You can step into their shoes, right? You feel them, you understand them, which develops this compassion. This is why Pisces is a sign of compassion and love, right? And love is the only emotion that's gonna allow you to connect with everything. You have to love everything to connect with everything, right? This is why so much people can't master Pisces, because they don't love everything, right? They're just trying to extract what they want. They're on a they're approaching the universe from a non-loving, selfish point of view, an egotistical point of view, where they're only trying to get benefit, right? They're not trying to actually genuinely develop a relationship with the universe, right? A loving relationship. They don't actually love the world, right? This is the secret. Yeah, you have to love the world to master Pisces. Love, by definition, is to be connected, right? To love someone, you're deeply connected with them, right? If you don't deeply love someone, you're not deeply connected with them, right? If you don't love someone, you're not connected at all with them, right? A mental connection is possible, but it takes an emotional connection to really connect with somebody, right? And love is that connection, right? Love is the most powerful force in the universe. That's what holds the whole universe together, right? Because when you love, you come together. When you hate, you separate. This common sense, right? Common sense. The universe is showing you through the basic functionality of these emotions, right? But love is gravitation. Love is magnetism. Love holds everything together. Love connects everything. And to be able to tap into this power, you have to love everything, right? Which most people don't love everything, right? Most people don't love humanity. They don't love animals. They don't love the earth. They don't love nature. They don't love God. They want benefit from God. They want God to bless them. They want God to help them, right? It's all about them, right? That's why you have to have a non-egotistical point of view to be able to tap into this power, right? Because it's not about you. It's about the whole. It's about the unity. It's about God, right? But once you tap into this power, you become all-knowing, all-powerful. You become one again with God. This is why Pisces is the most significant sign in the zodiac. And Pisces is also the flower of life, right? Back what I said earlier, the oval is the first part of the fish, and when the top parts intersect and make an X at the top, that's the two lines of the fish. That's the tails of the fish, right? That comes out of the flower of life, right? The flower of life is the pattern that everything is created out of, right? Nothing in the physical world does not follow some kind of pattern that comes out of the flower of life. Every pattern of creation, every style of creation originates from the flower of life. Every shape, every law, everything comes out of the flower of life, right? The flower of life is made out of these rose petals, these sort of womb-looking rose petals, right? Go search up the flower of life. You're going to see a whole bunch of rose petals in the middle, all around it, right? It's made out of a whole bunch of circles that intersect. When a circle intersects, it makes a rose petal, which is the sign of Pisces, right? It's the womb, the cosmic womb, right? And this rose petal, when it intersects at the top, it makes an X. That's the fish. You put a line at the top. That's the fish sign. And the fish sign is Pisces sign. This is Pisces diagram, right? The flower of life. The flower of life basically is a three-dimension. It's a diagram of how the fabric of the void, the fabric of space, the fabric of the universe looks. It's a diagram of how waves look, how the 0-point fields look, right? The flower of life is a diagram because everything comes out of this diagram of the flower of life. Everything comes out of these wombs, these womb petals, right? The cosmic womb is basically the flower of life, right? And Pisces sign is the fish, and the sign of the fish is the rose petal. The rose petal intersects at the top and makes a fish symbol, right? It looks like a fish, right? And this rose petal is the womb, the cosmic womb, right? That everything is created out of. That's why a vagina looks like a rose petal. It looks like a rose, right? This rose petal comes from the flower of life. The flower of life is where everything originates from, all shapes, all designs, everything that has to do with creation, every law, every style of creation is encoded in the flower of life, right? That's why women vaginas looks like the flower of life, looks like a rose, right? Because life comes out of a woman, life comes out of a woman's vagina. That's why it looks like that. It's not a coincidence. Nothing is a coincidence. God is calculating everything precisely, right? And scientists understand this. The most smartest scientists understand this. But Pisces represents the flower of life, right? Pisces is the cosmic womb that everything is created out of, right? And the flower of life is the design. It's a three-dimensional, it's a diagram design of how the fabric of life looks. And also search up the double slit experiment that shows that your mind can actually alter reality, right? It's proven that the mind can alter reality, right? Because a double slit experiment is when they send particles through two slits, and when you're looking at it, the particles go through and hits the back, it hits between the slits, right? That's how it's supposed to, right? Because it's blocked. It's blocked everywhere, and the two slits is the only opening. So obviously, the particles should only touch behind the openings. It shouldn't go anywhere else behind the blockage is what's blocked, right? But when nobody's looking, the the particles hit all behind it, right? They send one particle and all they see is a bunch of particles hitting behind the blockages where the slits are not open, right? It's not only going through the slit and hitting behind the slit, it's hitting all the other areas behind where the slit's blocked off at, where there's no opening, right? And they're like, how is this happening? Because the particles is acting like a wave, right? It's in a superposition where it's in multiple positions where it's not definitive where it's at. It's like jumping around in multiple positions, right? It's called superposition, right? And the mind, when somebody looks at it, they collapse the multiple possibilities that's all present, right? Time separates events, right? But in this position, in this state, at an atomic level, time is kind of non-existent. It's existent, but it's less, it has less of an effect on small things, right? And it's when the particles in this superposition, right, where all possibilities are happening simultaneously, which is what Pisces is. Pisces is everything happens simultaneously, right? All possibilities is happening simultaneously, right? But when a mind looks at it, when a mind locks on it, one of the possibilities automatically collapses in and becomes real, right? And all the other possibilities fade away, right? And the particle hits behind the slit, right? All the other particles, all the wave function, collapses, and the particle is definitive, and it creates a definitive point. It hits behind the slit. When somebody looks at it, it hits behind the slit. When somebody doesn't look at it, it acts like a wave and hits all everywhere on the paper. It's only supposed to hit two spots on the paper where the slit is opening at, right? There's a big slit in front of the camera, and there's a paper behind it, right? And it's only supposed to hit behind the openings of the slit. But when you're not looking at it, it hits all on the paper. It makes a whole line on the paper. It's like, how the hell is it making the whole line, right? Because there's only two openings. It should only go through the two openings. There should be only two dots on the paper, not a whole line. It should be two dots, not a whole line. But particles move in something called a superposition. Particles move in a wave, right? Particles technically don't exist. They exist, but they come out of waves, right? Waves are the language of the universe. Frequency is the language of the universe. And based on your frequency, that defines what you are, right? You change your frequency, you change your whole being, right? If you have an apple and you change the apple's frequency to a pear or an orange, the apple will be turned into an orange. Yeah, this is proven, right? Everything is vibrating off of frequency. The only thing that makes something what it is, it's its frequency. You change its frequency, the whole object will change, right? Basically, once you master this high level Pisces, you can make anything out of nothing. You could just put your hand up and imagine a frequency, and the wave is around you, the wave fields around you is gonna change into a frequency, and it's gonna collapse. The wave function is gonna collapse around you, and the object is gonna appear, Whatever you're imagining is going to appear, right? Science proves this, right? This is why you got to understand science. Science proves this, right? Science proves Pisces, right? Aquarius proves Pisces. Aquarius is science, right? The scientist is Aquarius, right? Science always leads to spirituality, right? This is why Aquarius is before Pisces, right? But Pisces represents this crazy, profound power that's in everywhere. And once you learn how to change, once you learn how to the language of the universe, which is frequency, you can make anything you want, right? Once you tapped into everything, you're connected with everything, which Pisces represents. You are connected to an all-powerful force, which is God. God is everything, and when you connect to everything, you become all-powerful, all-knowing, which makes Pisces the most powerful sign and the most significant sign. But the problem is, you can't tap into this power if you have hate within your heart. If you have hate, ill will within your heart, too much egotism, you can't tap into this power. You have to be loving. You have to love everything. You have to be filled with only love to tap into this power, right? And that's basically the power is fail-safe. It's the evil proof, dummy proof, right? That's just dummy proof. That's just evil proof, right? Everything is love, right? The most powerful thing in the universe is love, right? God is love. God is power. God is frequency, right? And if you don't love everything, you cannot master Pisces, right? Being connected to everything requires you loving everything, and people don't love everything. People have so much hate in their heart. And as long as you have hate in your heart, you can't master Pisces, right? This is why the evil elites are they're stuck at Aquarius, right? That's why they're trying to make artificial intelligence and create an AI god it's not all knowing, but it knows way more than humans, right? And this AI can solve all their problems, right? This AI could be super smart. Basically, if they're a god, they could tap into and be one with and have a sort of fictitious all-knowing power. But the real all-knowing power can